Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on this video. My name is Chris. This episode of Side Flick is officially the good news episode because everything in here sounds fantastic. We're going to be discussing movie topics like Doctor Strange 2 getting a director that might help bring Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man into the universe. Indiana Jones 5 is still unremarkably happening. We have a Five Nights of Freddy sound-alike that is starting production that might actually be better than Five Nights. That and so much more, guys, so I need you to be hitting that like button. It's the only thing you got to do to support these videos, and I don't want to have to do this, but I'm desperate. It's my birthday! That's right, it's my birthday, okay? I didn't just say it because I want attention and likes. No, what? I mean, if I wanted attention, I'd be a YouTuber. But also be sure to comment down below your favorite topic and what you thought of them. Alright, so we're going to start off with the one that got me so excited last night. We all know Doctor Strange 2, entitled Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, is in a little bit of a pickle right now because Scott Derrickson, the original director involved, dropped out of the project due to creative differences. This sent a lot of fans into panic and had some people bashing the Marvel name, some believing it was because Scott Derrickson wanted to make a horror movie out of this MCU character and Kevin Feige just was not having that. Now we can throw away that silly suggestion by fans because they still making this horror movie. They're currently in talks right now to get Sam Raimi to direct Doctor Strange 2 and talk about a hella upgrade. Nothing against Scott Derrickson, he's a good director, and I liked what he did with the first Doctor Strange, but come on now, this is Sam Raimi, the boy who brought us the Spider-Man trilogy. He's gonna be coming into the MCU to play around with, and he's also known as a great horror director. My excitement level for Doctor Strange 2 just shot through the frickin' roof, man. And I mentioned at the beginning of this video, we could now have a possibility of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man showing up in Doctor Strange 2. It could actually happen now, because one of the ongoing suggestions about this movie is that in the title Multiverse of Madness, it will deal with Doctor Strange jumping from different multiverses, and we will be seeing different versions of our favorite MCU characters. So we'll jump into a timeline where maybe we have the Marvel zombies, or we'll jump into a timeline where Tony Stark was evil, and we'll get to see these characters in a way we haven't before. Pair that up with the confirmation that Spider-Man, played by Tom Holland, has 2 confirmed movies with the MCU left: a solo Spider-Man movie and a team-up movie where Spider-Man will join an MCU character. I would not be surprised if Tom Holland is set to show up in Multiverse of Madness with Doctor Strange and go on this adventure setting up the Spider-Verse. And how freaking poetic would it be for Sam Raimi to finally give us a glimpse of the world he created, with Tobey Maguire returning and playing a small role in that movie. I'm hyping myself up too much for this movie. It sounds fantastic. Even if they don't get Tobey Maguire involved and Spider-Man isn't attached, Sam Raimi is a great director to be on this project, and I think this solidifies what the main reasons why Scott Derrickson left. It wasn't because they were trying to get rid of the horror aspect of the movie. It's because this movie was tied down to too many things in the MCU, and that director wanted to make a standalone movie that didn't connect to all this other stuff. Don't forget, Doctor Strange 2 is supposed to also include Scarlet Witch, and the movie's also supposed to directly connect into the WandaVision show on Disney+, plus whatever future movies in the MCU they're tying into. It's a lot for a director to be like, this doesn't feel like my movie anymore. This feels like y'all's movie, and you just put my name on it. But I need to know what you guys think of Sam Raimi directing Doctor Strange 2. Continuing on the segment from our last Side Flick update, and I'm too old for this news, Indiana Jones 5, believe it or not, is still happening. It's on the table. Lucasfilm is working on this thing. Kathleen Kennedy was recently asked about it, and this is what she had to say. We're working away, getting the script where we want it to be, then we'll be ready to go. Harrison Ford will be involved. It's not a reboot, it's a continuation. Harrison can't wait. So they're getting the script down, and boy, do they need a good script, because that last Indiana Jones movie, oh, that hurt my soul. But it's the elephant in the room that Harrison Ford is just not the spry, whipping young man that he used to be, that how can this not sort of be a soft reboot? I'm gonna have a hard time believing that Harrison Ford is gonna be running, swinging with his whip, riding cars. I think they're definitely gonna have to set up some sort of scenario where Indiana Jones is passing off the hat and whip to someone else. If not, they could be going ahead to end the story of Harrison Ford, give it a happy note, so that they can peacefully say we ended the Indiana Jones franchise on a good note with a good movie, and in like 5 years we're gonna reboot it with some young new actor. I'm a huge fan of the Indiana Jones franchise. I loved every movie, even parts of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, so I'm just really hoping we get a nice little send-off for Indy and hope for a better future for that character. What do you guys think of Indiana Jones 5 still happening and coming in the near future? In news that also excited the hell out of me, so you guys know that Disney is trying to reboot as many of their properties as they can. One of the ones in the work is Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Now, it's a fun little family movie. I think you can watch it on Disney+, and heck, this movie was set to even be a reboot for Disney+. So I was like, okay, this sounds just like the Home Alone movie that they're making for Disney+, or now, like we just found out, the Lilo and Stitch movie going on Disney+. That's gonna be live action. Well, it was just recently reported that the gods at Disney have awakened Rick Moranis. He's currently in talks right now to star in the reboot for Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and with Rick Moranis involved, this no longer is on Disney+. This is going to be headed straight to theaters. Rick Moranis is an actor I just completely adored, and if you Google his situation and why he retired from acting, it is heartbreaking, man. But now, several years later, the man is free to return to acting, and he said he's willing to come back to do a movie if it's the right project. Turns out, Disney handing a boatload of money and a reboot to one of his movies is the right project. Honestly, I want this movie just to see Rick Moranis on the big screen again. I love the actor and everything he's done in the past. I'm just gonna get a big smile of seeing him doing what he does best, cracking jokes, being funny. I really hope this movie works out for him, and heck, if the Ghostbuster franchise continues, I'd like to see him pop up in that. What do you guys think of Rick Moranis returning for a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids reboot? In some horror movie news, a movie I'm extremely looking forward to that I think is coming out this year towards the end of the year, no official release date, is this Five Nights at Freddy's ripoff movie that actually sounds pretty fantastic. Some of you might have heard already. I did a video on it previously. It's entitled Wally's Wonderland, and it deals with Nicolas Cage playing a janitor at a Disney-like park, meaning an amusement park like Disney World or Six Flags or any one of your local amusement parks. And at this specific amusement park, they use animatronic puppets to entertain their customers, and now these animatronic puppets go haywire and start coming to life in what's sure to be a horrific, gory movie. How does that not sound amazing to you? Nicolas Cage as a janitor fighting animatronic puppets at a Disney park at night? Take all my money in the world. The reason I'm bringing this up today is because this movie is now going to start shooting in Atlanta. It's officially happening. Sometimes we get reports of movies that are coming out and they just never show up, like we did 4 years ago for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. That's how long it's been when they announced the original Five Nights movie that was going to be coming out. 4 years. And we haven't seen this thing at all. I really hate to say it, but I feel like the project might be dead. Apparently, it's still in the works, and news on it is coming very soon. Blumhouse is working on it, but this Nicolas Cage movie, Wally's Wonderland, is beating them to the punch, and I'm so excited to see this thing. How do you guys feel about Wally's Wonderland starting production and beating Five Nights at Freddy's to the theater? At the beginning of this video, I might have lied to you, okay? Not all of the things we're talking about today is good news. I guess it depends on how you look at it. In some Fast and the Furious news, Vin Diesel was recently doing an interview where he was talking about the end of the franchise and what he'd like to do with it. And one of the things he mentioned is that Fast and Furious 10, which does have a release date and is planned to be made, will be split up into 2 movies. I had no idea the Fast and the Furious franchise was based off a young adult novel. Is that not the only type of movies that have part 2s and part 1s? Where we had the Deathly Hallows part 1 and 2, Hunger Games Mockingjay part 1 and 2. Wouldn't just part 2 of Fast and Furious 10 be Fast and Furious 11? I'm not knocking on it. I just think it sounds funny if they actually come out with the title Fast and the Furious 10 Part 2. Fast and Furious is one of my guilty pleasure franchises. I could see as many of those movies as they crank out as long as they're fun and entertaining, but it's getting increasingly hard to defend this franchise from people who just call it garbage. Okay, maybe, but I love this garbage. Pair that up with Vin Diesel also saying that he's working on a script for an all-female Fast and Furious movie where the girls of Fast and Furious take over their own film. Now, that's not necessarily bad news, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Historically, though, movies that are marketed as an all-female cast do not always get the best online attention, but the only way I see this succeeding is if they bring in real girl star power into that movie, and how much different can it be than them riding around in cars and fighting bad guys? I'm curious to see what they would do with it, but I don't know if audiences out there are really clamoring for an all-female Fast and Furious movie. What do you guys think? But anyways, guys, that's just some of the news that's been happening in the week that did not warrant its own big video. I really want to hear your opinion on all of these news topics. I'm also going to be working on a Chucky update. So if you made it this far into the video, hit that like for the Chucky update that I'm working on. But be sure to also subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at 3C Film Review. As always, I'm Chris. Take care.